use one of those little pump siphons that you give it like 2 pumps and then it starts going. And it's sometimes great, sometimes not. And the only reason I haven't switched over is because I want to use it till it breaks and then I'll replace it with something better.
I can't use those when I'm bottling because I don't have enough hands. You got to keep one hand on the empty bottle. But those self-starter siphons are okay unless you've got overhead issues like I often do in my space. So it's one of those things. Figure out what works for you.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Figure out how to keep it sanitary.
Whole bunch of different things, but the rule of thumb is active ferment. It's okay if properly sanitized to splash rack it because then you're giving the yeast the oxygen that it's wanting at that stage. If the fermentation is in the bottom 2/3, you want to siphon. Pretty good rule of thumb. Jaden had a corollary question to this that popped up. He says, how long can an overabundant headspace, i.e. say a half-full carboy, sit before it needs attention or starts changing the flavor profile? And that's a tricky question because it really depends on the mead.
And it depends on what's in the headspace, too.
Yeah.
If you fermented in a container that was never all the way filled and it was still off-gassing and you still had a lot of airlock activity after you racked it into another container and it's still a little bit low, so you're pretty sure that most of what's in your headspace is carbon dioxide, you're probably okay to leave that. However, if you've gone in there to add anything or to stir anything, that's when you're going to have problems. Okay. And that's when you want to make sure that you're following standard procedures.
I think I got the phone number wrong for David. I'm checking. Okay, the next question that was up was, what's the best way to determine when fermentation has finished and to begin rousing the yeast daily for at least 1 month post-fermentation as you suggest?
Specific gravity stops changing. Did we lose Ryan?
I think we might have. I think we did. Yeah, hang on, I'll bring him back in. I thought he got awfully quiet there. See if this is going to work here. We're having technology.
I know what we forgot to do before the show.
What did we do? Oh, we didn't do the dance. That's what's going on.
We didn't do the dance.
We didn't do the dance.
I'll go mute myself and do the dance once Ryan comes back.
Okay. He's not making it.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. His Skype is giving him issues, so I keep having to go around that and go to his phone. It's weird.
Please excuse our technical difficulties. We didn't chase out the gremlins before the show. Usually we just swear at them a whole lot and it makes the show run nice and smooth.
Yeah, it does. Let's try his mobile. That should get it. Ryan's there. He just doesn't have a strong opinion on that.
Thanks for that, Joe.
Hello.
There you are. I don't know where you went.
Yeah. I don't know either.
Yeah. If you don't like the question, you could just say so, Ryan. You have to hang up on us. Jeez.
I love the question.
Right? Okay, I'm going to... Okay. All right. Steve Kirby's got a couple of questions that we can field during the show, because they're more kind of relevant. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in David and get him on the call. Here we go. And now I get your message that says, call me back.
Technology's so great.
It's a good thing for you that I keep my tablet in front of me because I don't see texts that are on my phone because the phone is behind me.
No, that's why you didn't see it.
Yeah. Hey, David, did you make it in?
I did.
All right. Welcome. Welcome to Got Me Live.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're bringing you in to dazzle us with your amazing Pyments skills.
Awesome.
So.
Hi, David.
Hi, Ryan. How are you doing this evening?
I'm fine, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Since we're talking Pyments, I decided to crack open my very first gold medal Mazer Cup winning Pyment from 2014.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm going to get my vehicle and I'm heading over.
You better hurry. There's only half a bar left.
Oh, yeah. See how you are?
So Ryan, I'll hand the baton over to you.
Okay, well, very
I'm
good.
sorry, David. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that while this is absolutely fabulous with some age on it and whatnot, I don't know that it would do extremely well in competition these days.
Because you feel like it's gone past its point of no return?
Or because the competition's competition's
it's continuing to get better. It's just competition has gotten really steep. It's not really faulted, but it's a little on the boozy side. Still, after aging for a few years, and this was before I started employing modern mead making techniques with Tosna and all of that fun stuff that we've been doing lately.
Yeah.
So it was really impressive though, and it's absolutely delicious. Needs more
awesome.
Oatmeal.
So, to our listeners, David's just an amazing mead maker. Everything he makes is just fabulous. We really have a special evening tonight, and I'm sure you can all learn a boatload of really good information. I think David and I both live in Denver, and talking to other people from around the country, David and I were talking last night, and I think we both agree that we live in a fruit desert, so to speak. In other words, we don't have, we have fresh fruit, sort of. We have fruit in the grocery stores, but it's generally shipped. It shows up here just absolutely rock hard, and it's been picked weeks before it would have rather have been picked. We're going to be speaking tonight about making Pyments from wine kits, simply because we don't live in a place where we can get nice grape juice at Crush. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, David, why don't you, since we're talking about wine kits, do you feel it's necessary to spend the money on the expensive wine kits to get the best grape juice that somebody can, or what's your thoughts on that?
To be perfectly honest with you, I have not really found a difference between the premium wine kits and the entry-level wine kits, other than the $100 difference between them.
Right.
The premium wine kits are definitely really steep, and I feel like if I was just going to make a wine, I would absolutely go for the premium wine kit, just because you're getting all of your sugars, all of your fermentables and everything just from that grape juice. And so, of course, you would want to use the finest grape juice that you could possibly get your hands on to create a really spectacular product. Whereas when we're taking a wine kit and we're using this for mead making, we're really looking just for grape flavor more than anything else. And our fermentables are coming from the honey primarily. I've had the $200 wine kits, and I've had the $70 wine kits, and I honestly cannot tell a difference between them.
So then, am I wrong in saying you just said that you're getting most of your sugar points from the honey? Can you give us an idea, roughly percentage-wise, maybe of how many points are coming from your grapes versus how many of your gravity points come from the honey?
I can't say that I've really broken it down that way before.
So what,
on these wine kits, they don't really tell you what the Brix is of the juice that you're working with, and unless you have the equipment to be able to test that, you got to do some crazy math to try and figure that out.
Right. Well, so how about I just now dumped a wine kit on your kitchen table? Why don't you take us from there?
Yeah. So I would take this wine kit, open it up, and you'll find a cool little bag full of 1 packet of yeast and a few other things that I usually end up tossing. There's some fining agents and that kind of stuff in there, and basically all I'm looking for is the grape juice. That said, they'll usually send like some grape skins in some of the kits, which are really nice to throw in with it, just to get more color and a little more grape flavor. And they do put some oak packets in them usually, and providing it's not sawdust, which I have gotten before from them, which was really weird. That I definitely threw out.
That is really weird. But, you're supposed to put it in a mesh bag, and just hang it. They forgot the little mesh bag?
In my Mead, and then have to filter the sawdust out, But a lot of times they'll put the oak chips in there, and I've actually started taking those oak chips, and I'll rip the packet open, and I'll just throw the oak chips into the primary, and know that I need to add some more oak in the secondary to, get what I want. But it's at least using something that was given to me for free, and I've found some benefits to that. So.
Right.
So basically, I'll take this wine kit, and I've gone 2 different directions on this. One is just a really, really huge grape where you just take this wine kit and you basically add 12 pounds of honey to it and add your water to get you to 5.5 gallons and a 6.5 gallon carboy, and you throw your yeast in there. And you end up with just this super huge grape bomb, lots of grape character. But one of the things that I'm finding with that is you're not getting much honey coming through. And over the years, I've found that one of the keys to making a really good Pyment is having that balance in between the honey and the grape flavor. And trying to get the honey to come through when you're dealing with a big, bold red grape can be difficult at times.
So then, is it safe to say
that I've gone with this?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So the other direction that I've gone with this is I've now taken this wine kit, and I'll split it in between 2 carboys, and then I'm adding roughly 18 to 20 pounds of honey to it, and diluting 5.5 gallons of water, pitching my yeast, and I find I still get tremendous grape flavor that way and beautiful color with it, but you can actually see the color. It's not like ink. So it's been diluted a little bit, and those have been ones that I've been winning the most with lately, and it seems like the judges are really appreciating not the overwhelming grape flavor, but a nice balance in between that grape and the honey. And without splitting it between the 2, you're going to have a hard time getting that balance.
So you're actually taking the grape juice, and then you're adding twice as much water as they're telling you to add if you were only making wine, and then you're bumping your gravity up to... Where do you normally bump your gravity up to before you pitch?
Most of my starting gravities are between 1.14 and 1.16. Really kind of depends on whether I'm looking to finish it fairly sweet or trying to get more into a semi-sweet kind of range there. So I have found that despite, most of the wines that you consume out there being, really dry, certainly not anything with a ton of residual sugars in it, I found that it was really interesting how pleasant a really sweet, like Cab Sauv or a Nebbiolo or a Merlot or something like that can be, where you're not typically used to it being that sweet. It's been really interesting to explore that.
So I was a total wine guy before I started making mead, and it's funny, after I did start making meads, it's totally changed my tongue for wine, and I don't really like wine anymore straight out of the bottle. And so anytime I have any wine, I always put some honey in it to make it sweeter.